The room is thick with cigarette smoke. Navy officers sit in pressed uniforms, glancing down at a set of sketches spread across the table lines, channels, switching patterns, a strange system for guiding torpedoes through enemy interference. Then they look up at the woman presenting it. Not at the idea, at her. Hedy Lamarr stands in the half-light of a private Hollywood office in 1942, elegant, composed, and already judged. To the world, she is a movie star, a face on posters, a fantasy in evening wear, the most beautiful woman in the world. And in that moment, that label is doing what labels do best, making people blind. Because while war rages across oceans and ships vanish in black water, one of the boldest communication ideas of the century is being waved off as if it were a glamorous hobby. They see a starlet. They do not see the inventor. They do not see the woman who has been listening, learning, escaping, observing, building toward this moment for years. And they certainly do not see that the future is already sitting in front of them, sketched in pencil. Before she was Hedy Lamarr, she was Hedwig Eva Maria Kiesler, a child in Vienna with a restless mind. Her father would walk with her through the city and explain how things worked: printing presses, streetcars, hidden mechanisms behind ordinary life. He taught her to look past appearances and ask what made a machine move. At home, she took apart a music box just to put it back together again. That instinct would follow her forever. Don't just admire the surface. Find the system underneath. But the world noticed something else first. Her beauty arrived in public before her mind ever got a fair introduction. In European cinema, she rose quickly, and by the time ecstasy made her infamous, controversy wrapped itself around her name. Suddenly, she wasn't just an actress. She was a sensation, a scandal, a symbol people felt entitled to define. And once the public labels you, it rarely stops to ask what else you might be. Then came Friedrich Mandl, the wealthy arms dealer who married her and tried to turn that label into a cage. In his world, Hedy is no longer simply admired. She is controlled, guarded, watched, a decorative possession in locked rooms and formal dinners. She would later describe herself as if she had become an object, something beautiful to be displayed and imprisoned. But in those tense dining rooms, surrounded by military men and weapons talk, Hedy does something vital. She listens. She absorbs details about munitions, control systems, wartime technology. The cage is real, but so is the education happening inside it. And that's the first lesson in her story. Don't let labels define your limits. Because Hedy learns in the very places people assume she is powerless. The men around her underestimate her. They think she is decoration. They think she is silent. They think beauty means emptiness. And that miscalculation becomes her advantage. While they dismiss her, she is building a mental library they never intended her to have. In London, fate shifts. She meets Louis B. Mayer, and soon Hollywood gives her a new name, Hedy Lamarr. America receives her as pure illusion. On screen, she is mystery, seduction, glamour under studio light. Off screen, she is something the studio system doesn't know what to do with: a woman who wants to think. Who wants to build? Who keeps engineering notebooks near the gowns? Who can walk off a lavish set and sit alone with sketches, gears, ideas? That contrast becomes the defining image of her life. On one side, velvet costumes, towering sets, camera flashes. On the other, solitude, diagrams, tinkering, mechanical curiosity. Hollywood rewards her for standing still and looking extraordinary. But Hedy is most alive when she is making something. Then World War II changes the stakes. The war is no longer distant background noise. It is personal, urgent. And Hedy wants to do more than smile for patriotism. She wants to contribute in a real way. At a dinner party in 1940, she meets avant-garde composer George Antheil, another unconventional mind. Their friendship sparks around war, systems, machines, rhythm. He understands synchronization through music. She understands the threat of weapons and the cost of dictatorship. And suddenly, two completely different worlds begin to overlap. Picture her there, still the Hollywood icon in public, still draped in satin before cameras, but in private, bent over hand-drawn sketches of frequency-hopping systems that look almost musical. The image matters because it destroys the false choice people keep imposing on her. She is not beauty or intellect, not art or engineering. She is proof that the most powerful ideas often come from people who refuse those categories altogether. In June 1941, Lamarr and Antheil submit their patent application. In August 1942, it is granted U.S. Patent number 2,292,387. Secret Communication System. It is official now, a real invention, designed to prevent the jamming of radio-controlled torpedoes by constantly shifting frequencies in sync between sender and receiver. On paper, it is elegant, practical, visionary, and yet, this is the cruel turn the US Navy shelves it. In fact, real innovation is often inconvenient. It arrives before institutions are ready. It comes from the wrong person, in the wrong package, at the wrong time. Hedy's patent expires before she ever profits from it. Her film career fades. The decades move on. And for a long time, it seems as if the world has made its choice. Remember the face, forget the invention. But ideas have their own kind of afterlife. Hedy Lamarr dies in 2000. By then, the world has finally begun to say her name differently. Not just as a screen legend, not just as a symbol of beauty, but as a pioneer, a thinker, a woman whose vision traveled farther than the room that rejected it. And maybe that's why her story still matters. Because Hedy Lamarr leaves behind more than an invention, she leaves a pattern. If people underestimate you, let them build anyway. If your best ideas come from crossing worlds that don't seem to belong together, follow that instinct. And if the room goes quiet when you offer something new, if the filing cabinet closes and the credit doesn't come, remember this: delayed recognition is not the same as failure. Some people are remembered for how they looked in the light. Hedy Lamarr changed the invisible world, and in the end, that signal traveled farther.